Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Mr. Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into your future. Hopefully, everyone has had a good and fantastic Tuesday as we are now about to move into our Wednesday. Yes, going into our Wednesday now. We have some stuff that we're going to go on to talk about for tonight. Obviously, stuff being like what's going to happen tonight, current conditions, long term, short term, tomorrow. All of that stuff is guaranteed. But let's look at what's on tap. Well, cool to seasonably cool conditions continue tonight into Wednesday. Gradual warming trend begins midweek, as well as a mostly dry backdoor cold front approaches late Friday into Saturday, and additional fire weather concerns possible this weekend. That's the main things that we're going to talk about as we go into tonight. So we're going to go on, and first off, say if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now we have around a good, YouTube's kind of glitching out, but I think around a good 4 people that have tuned in so far, and only one like. Maybe YouTube might be wrong here, but I might refresh it just to see. But I only see one like right now. So go and hit the like button if you have not already. Also, make sure you go and hit the subscribe button if you're new. We're at 724, trying to get to that main goal of 800. Also, share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to, because it's free and you can change your mind at any time. So let's go in and talk about the live radar and what's currently going on. Well, right now, nice and dry right now. No rainfall falling throughout the state right now, and it looks like that we are relatively doing good. Now, we do have a little special weather statement up here inside of the upstate, as well as inside the Midlands, and you guessed it, it is due to fire danger as you move throughout the upstate and as you move throughout the upstate Midland areas as well. That continues through today, tonight, for the most part. Due to those breezy conditions that we're moving in, winds will be obviously much less breezier in the afternoon. This afternoon than it was in the morning time. But the fire threat was still there, so if you didn't know, that was there. But for the most part, I mean, according to the SPC outlook, it doesn't look like our next really big fire threat isn't going to be until this weekend. Now, we do have some rainfall, some snowfall going on in New York, going on in Vermont, some rainfall in Ohio, Florida, Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, even Minnesota and North Dakota. Montana also getting some rainfall, some snowfall going on in the northern parts. Now, for cloud cover, it looks like we do have some low clouds moving on throughout the southern Midlands, the low country, the Grand Strand, the PD areas. Even the upstate has some cloud cover going on up there. But if you look at like the Midland areas, cloud cover is kind of making its way out of that area. You have some there, but not as much as like the upstate and the low country and the Grand Strand, PD areas. Now, for our cloud cover going into the future, we start off here at around 9 o'clock, moving through. Here's 12 o'clock in the morning, going to 1 o'clock in the morning. And now we just have nice cloudy conditions. Nice and cloudy conditions at this point. We go all the way into tomorrow morning. Here's 6 o'clock in the morning, going to 7 o'clock in the morning. And now we have cloud cover really just trying to keep its way in from like the low country, the southern Midlands, the Grand Strand areas, moving into around the afternoon time frame on Wednesday. And then even as we go into Wednesday night, 9 o'clock p.m., moving all the way through into Thursday early morning, now we have cloud cover kind of just staying near the coastal areas and maybe even some fog activity potentially Wednesday night going into Thursday morning. That's a potential. Going all the way through Friday afternoon, cloud cover tries to move its way out, which it definitely can. So that's what we're looking at in terms of our future. But let's go on now and look at our current temperatures. Well, right now we are around a good 51 in Somerville, 53 in Charleston, as well as 54 in Beaufort, 55 Hilton Head Island, and 54 in Orangeburg, 51 Georgetown, and 51 in Merle's Inlet, 51 Myrtle Beach, and 49 in Conway, 49 Florence, and 50 in Sumter, 49 Lugoff, 52 in Columbia, and 51 in Newberry, 52 Greenwood, and 54 in Anderson, 55 Clemson, and 51 in Greenville, 50 Spartanburg, 49 Gaffney, 47 York, Rock Hill, and Lancaster. Now for your air quality, for the most part, looking like we're good. We have a little bit of a moderate area over there in like the Horry County areas, going on in eastern Georgetown counties potentially, but it's not much at all. Nothing really to be worried about. Low temperatures for tonight, you have around a good 41 in Greenville, Anderson, as well as 40 in Spartanburg and Greenwood, Newbury, Winsboro, 41 in Columbia and 40 in Sumter, 39 Florence, Kingstree, 43 Orangeburg and Moncks Corner, as well as 44 in Walterboro, 49 Charleston, and 43 in Georgetown and Myrtle Beach. We even have around a good 53 in Hilton Head Island. High temperatures for tomorrow, you have around 64 in Greenville, 65 Anderson, Spartanburg, as well as Rock Hill, 66 Winsboro, Newbury, 69 in Columbia, Camden, 67 inside of Cheraw, going on even 69 in Sumter, Florence, and Dillon, 70 Orangeburg, and 71 in Moncks Corner, 68 in Charleston, and 66 in Georgetown, as well as 64 in Myrtle Beach. Now, rainfall for tonight, not expected, so you do not need any rain gear with you. That is not expected for tonight at all. Now, in terms of your crazy score, if you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how crazy the weather is throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now we are at a 15. We are at a 15. Why? Well, for the most part, it's mainly because, obviously, no precipitation, going to be nice and dry tonight. Cloud cover will be there, so that's kind of why we kind of propel ourselves towards that mild category. Also, we also will see a little bit of lower temperatures, obviously, than normal, so that also kind of adds to it. Winds also being a little bit up, gusts as high as 15, 20 miles per hour or so. But for the most part, that's about it, so nothing too crazy. SPC outlook for tonight, nice and honestly just quiet conditions in terms of thunderstorm activity, as we have nothing to look for here at all. Now, if we go on and look at tomorrow's risk for Wednesday, again, nothing here. And then if we go on and look into Thursday, nothing here either. Fire weather, obviously we have nothing for today, but on Saturday, we have a risk of some elevated fire condition. This is Saturday, March the 28th, 2026. And we have a 40 to a 69% critical conditions risk over here for the upstate, the Midlands, even a little bit of the low country. And I told y'all yesterday that this could expand, and it sure did. It sure did expand down towards the south and east, going near towards the inland low country areas, going into the Florence area. So that's something to watch for on Saturday. Make sure that if you are planning to burn something on Saturday, don't do it, because for right now, it's not looking pretty good right now. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, and there's nobody really that has any sort of risk except for, day 3 up in the Ohio Valley, but everybody else, good. So let's go in and look at the models. We're going to start off here at the HRRR, and we're just going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. We're going to go to the 18Z real quick. Here we go. And as we go on and push this forward, you can see for sure that rainfall activity now kind of just keeping its way out of the state. Nice and dry all the way through Wednesday afternoon, getting to Wednesday evening, nice and dry. Wednesday night, you may see like a little shower or so, but it's not going to like accumulate or anything like that, so it looks pretty good. And then as we continue our way through, just look at how dry it gets through Thursday as well. So it looks pretty good, honestly. I think that for the most part, we are going to stay relatively dry as we continue throughout the next 48 hours or so. Now, in terms of the long-term future, we're going to go where we just ended off at, which was 2 p.m. on Thursday. And as we go in and push this forward, Friday comes along. Saturday may bring some showers here and there, but for the most part, mostly dry going into this weekend. We go into next week, early next week, and we have some rainfall here and there going on throughout the coastal regions potentially. But again, isolated, not going to be a problem at all. And then as we move through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, still looking really good, honestly. I'm not seeing anything concerning at all. Maybe until we get into next weekend. So not this weekend, but next weekend, like April, like the 5th or something like that. So I don't see anything too crazy until this system right here moves through. This might have to be something that we might have to watch out for here on April the 5th. But we'll see what happens, because I think this just popped up today. So this was not here last night. Really. And if it was here last night, I'm just not remembering it, or it was not that organized. Yeah, no, it was not there last night. Okay. But it was around 318 hours out. Now it's only 294 because it's been, obviously, 24 hours. But continue our way through. You can see for the most part after it's done, it's out. and we don't have too much to worry about. So honestly, I'd say just continuing that tame pattern that we've been talking about for the past couple of days, continuing to stay tame, continuing to stay modest, and just continuing to have dry conditions, which is not good for the drought. Also, remember that the drought prediction comes out on Thursday, so make sure that you are there for that, and you want to go and put your prediction inside of the chat on Thursday on the poll when it goes out. But now that that is out of the way, really, I mean, nothing too much to talk about. We can go to the European model though, real quick, and just take a quick little look. But it doesn't say really too much of anything either. So both of them say nice and dry condition. Now, temperatures. Temperatures are one of the main things that we're going to be looking at, and honestly, the main thing that's been going on, because obviously rainfall, thunderstorm activity hasn't been a huge risk, but temperatures have been fluctuating here and there. Now, if you go on and continue your way through, I mean, we continue all the way throughout midweek, Wednesday going into Thursday, and things actually start to warm up. I mean, we're 10 degrees now, 11 degrees above average, maybe even around 11 o'clock p.m. here on Thursday. We have some more warm temperatures moving their way through. But then Friday comes along, going all the way into Saturday, and that's when we start to receive that cool down. So here we are, Friday, 5 o'clock p.m. Look at all that cold air that moves its way through as you get all the way into like Saturday afternoon. And so that will bring cooler conditions, and just for the most part, it will bring just the kind of condition that we're seeing right now is what we're going to see next weekend. So almost like a little bit of a reset. Now, as we continue forward even more, all the way over into Monday, going over into Tuesday, we're still pretty cool. Still pretty cooler than average. But then as we continue through Tuesday, Wednesday, things start to warm up a little bit more going into next week. And honestly, it stays warm until another cold front moves through again as you go into next the week after next week, Sunday, that being April the 5th. So honestly, I think that we will continue to just see this back and forth seesaw weather over and over and over again of switching. But, we're in spring now. I mean, that's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen. But I think that's all that I have to say here in terms of the anomalies. I mean, pretty much the rest of the week's going to be warming up. Getting to Friday of this week, temperatures are going to go down. They're going to rise back up as you go into like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and then they'll go right back down again on Sunday, April like the 5th or somewhere around there. So let's go and look at the temperatures now. So we're going to start off here at Wednesday, 5 o'clock in the morning. You go ahead and push this forward, and you can see pretty warm conditions going on as you go into tomorrow. We go into Thursday. Temperatures rising up into the upper 70s now. Maybe even seeing an isolated 80 here and there. Friday comes along. I mean, we're seeing high 80s on Friday. Very nice, very hot for some condition going on Friday. But as you continue your way forward, going all the way through into Saturday, those temperatures will drop. We'll be back down into the 40s. And then by the time you get into Sunday, temperatures will start to bring their ways back down into like the 50s, back into the 40s again for lows for that same night there, going into Sunday, Monday morning, going into Monday afternoon, temperatures will be back in the 70s again. And they'll overall just be back up into the 80s or so as you go into next week. And honestly, next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, overall, it just looks like a very nice and warm week next week, by the time you get to around Tuesday or so. But even Monday could potentially be pretty warm, with highs up into the 70s. So honestly, it could be nice and warm like all week next week. And obviously, I know, we're getting close to Easter. So that usually means that there's a lot of people going out on spring break, people being out for a week, schools being out, all that kind of stuff. So, if your district that you live in has spring break next week, I mean, overall, it just looks very good. Just looks very good. But that's just for next week. What about if we go further than that? We go all the way through into Thursday of next week, going into Friday. I mean, just look at these temperatures up into the 80s. But let's go in and look at the ensembles real quick. Mean temperature real quick. And as we go in and push this forward right here, you can even see even more warmer temperatures trying to move their way through Friday, Saturday. But then you start to see a little bit of a decrease in temperatures as you go into the week after next week. Obviously, we're talking about a little bit of a cold blast trying to move its way through as you get into like the early to mid part of April. And that still seems true. Back temperatures only get into the 60s as you go into like April, like the 5th through the 10th time frame. But that's all that I have to say in terms of our long term. Nothing else really for me to talk about. Let me go in and make sure I got everything. I don't see anything else too crazy. So, let's go in and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with Mr. Chris was here first. He says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My outlook also says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, hope everyone had a great day. Got to around 53 degrees here inside of Moncks Corner. And then Maya Lula says, hopefully everyone had a great day. Well, I did. Thank you so much for that. And Mr. Chris, thank you so much for that weather report. My name says, hi, Jay. It was a cold day today. Well, thank you so much for that weather report. Hello to you. And then Mr. Chris says, please remember to go hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free. Helps the channel grow. Absolutely. Right now we have around a good 7 people watching right now. Around a good 7 people watching. 10 people have tuned in so far tonight. And we only have 6 likes. So if you're a part of that group of 4 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Continue our way down. Ms. Chris says currently it's 52. Well, thank you so much for that weather report as well. Maya Lewis says today in Georgetown a high was only 55 and currently it's 50. Well, let's see my temperatures for today since everybody's sharing theirs. Let me see. So at my house today, it is currently 53 and the high temperature was 70. So, I'm actually kind of interested because Mr. Chris says his high temperature was 53. Maya Lewis says her temperature was 50, or high was 55. My high temperature at my house was 70. And my newer one says 69. So, one of us, or either if it's me or if it's y'all two, one of us is off, like a lot. So I know the forecasted high, which I can even check this out real quick as well and see what the official National Weather Service forecast was for where I am. So, click on that right there, going to the actual 3-day history. They had the high temperature here, where I am at, well, would you look at that? That does say, that says 66 or so. But it was, I believe, it was earlier this morning. So it was because of the cold front that pushed through last night. Your high temperature was actually during the nighttime and during like the early morning hours. So I guess whenever y'all checked it out, as you went into this afternoon, that may have been the reason why you got it. But the high temperature actually was last night, not this morning or this afternoon or anything like that. So if that's the reason why, but that clears up a lot of things actually. But continuing our way down, also was very windy in Moncks Corner today due to the cold front. Had a cold and cloudy day, no sign of rain. I was hoping we'd get some. Yeah, no rainfall. It was in the forecast for today. Not much sun today. Maybe tomorrow. Wind's still kicking over here in Moncks Corner. Well, thank you so much for that weather report. That says, good evening, Joseph and the 360 Weather family. I trust all is well with everyone. It was another beautiful day here in San Antonio. We woke up to mostly cloudy weather, which was awesome. Then it changed to sunny and hot. The high was hot, 87, no breeze for refuge. Well, thank you so much for that weather report. And, this was the weather that a lot of people were asking for, a lot of people are wishing for, so be glad that you have it. While we could sure use some rain over here, we sure could. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Cheryl says, greetings, everyone. And then Thad says, low of tonight is 68. Not too cool, but just right. Cheryl says, cool day here, jacket on. That jacket will be popping off soon, though, as you go into next week. But unfortunately, maybe even like a couple of days, that jacket could be popping off. But for sure next week, with those temperatures being up into the 80s. Milo says, I did see something on the local news about a tornado, probably the tornado from the week before when we had that huge system move through. And we had that severe weather threat. That never really happened too much. That said, we are finally getting some pollen in our area. I'm not a fan of all the yellow stuff. Well, I was honestly kind of shocked that it took that long to get. I mean, we're pretty much almost done with the main pollen season over here in South Carolina. I'm not seeing any more pollen really starting to spread that much. So y'all are just getting y'all. Well, over here, we're pretty much almost done. At least where I am. We haven't too much pollen here. It's great to know that we get some warmer weather even for a little while. And that's all. So, let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations? What am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we go on and give them their forecast for them. So we're going to start off with San Antonio first, as we always do. And for the most part, low temperatures tonight, 66. High temperatures for tomorrow, 90. Low temperatures for tomorrow night, 65. And honestly, I will say that with no precipitation really being expected during the next 7 days, no severe weather, no excessive rainfall, and in terms of your future, temperatures may drop a little bit this weekend, but don't worry, they will be right back up into the 90s again. So, 90 tomorrow, 90 on Thursday, 91 on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, you're in the 80s. Monday, high 80s. Tuesday of next week, you're back in the 90s. So it's not going to last too long. And then for Raleigh, you have low temperatures tonight, 36. High temperature for tomorrow at 66. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at 50. No precipitation is expected at this time. And then in terms of your severe weather and excessive rainfall, nothing for you. Now for your future, next chance of rainfall will be around like Friday night. But after that, that's about it. Temperatures will be climbing up as you get into Friday as well, but then Saturday will come along, kind of die things back down. But as we talked about for South Carolina, those temperatures will go up real quick. Then in terms of Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at 37, high temperatures for tomorrow at 56, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 45. Precipitation not expected at this time until around Thursday night with the 80% chance of rainfall Thursday night going into Friday. And then in terms of your temperatures, I mean, honestly, you're going to be up to 71 on Thursday, looking really good. Friday, 61, but then Saturday, you're going to go back down to around 47, and freezing temperatures are definitely going to be coming back for you. I mean, Friday night, 30, Saturday night, 32. You're going to have some freezing temperatures potentially coming back as you go into this weekend. And then, in terms of severe weather, excessive rainfall, nothing. Then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, 59 for lows tonight, 91 highs tomorrow, 63 low temperatures tomorrow night. And then in terms of precipitation, none of that is expected. Winds are going to be a bit breezy though as you continue pretty much not only throughout tomorrow, but also Thursday and Friday. So it's going to be a bit breezy as you go throughout the next couple of days, and that will cause a little bit of a fire weather risk. Fire weather risk as you continue your way into, that is Friday. Well, really, it could also be Thursday as well, because they already have a fire weather watch for Thursday, even though not outlined by the National Weather Service yet, could be. But your main risk right now, a 40 to a 69% chance of, critical fire condition on Friday, and they have you under a fire weather watch for Thursday. So I honestly would just say don't burn anything both days if you don't have to. And then other things for your future, obviously with no rainfall, you're going to have high temperatures, getting all the way up into the 90s, but then a little cool air blast will try to move its way through Friday, getting down to 71, 67 on Saturday, and then it will climb right back up into the 80s Sunday going into Tuesday of next week. And that's all that I really have to say. So I honestly will say that, for the 4 areas, not too much except for just some dry conditions and some fire concerns and some cooling down here and there. Let's check out the chat one more time. Malu says, I saw a little pollen today, and then Miss Chris says, woke up to my truck covered again. Well, I will be washing my car, I believe, either this weekend or next week, whenever it really starts to get warm out there. Not too hot, not in like 80, hopefully not like in the 80s, like high 80s. But, when it starts to get like in those 70s, low 80s, something like that. I will be getting that done because my car's been covered with pollen for a good little bit, and I just never washed it just because I'm like, well, I don't want it to obviously spread onto the car right after I wash it. So I think that it has died down to a point to where if it does get back on the car, maybe not be as annoying as like a heavy, thick layer of pollen. So I hope that my prediction is right. We'll see what happens though. But I think that's all that I can see here inside the chat. So let's go on and see who the top fans of the night are. If you have no idea what the top fans are, it's a game that we play, really. And we just see who has contributed the most inside of the chat. And so right now, it was between either Mr. Chris, my Nana, my Lula, or Thad. So let's go ahead and check and see. Well, if we go ahead and count them up real quick, I see 3, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. From 1, I see 1, 2, 3, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Mr. Chris got number 1 for tonight. My Lula got number 2, and then Thad got number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. early. Also being active inside the chat, and also being a subscriber. Because if you're not a subscriber, you can't type anyway. So let's go ahead and give them 3 a round of applause. And that's all that I can see here as well. Nothing came through my Gmail, I suppose. So, if you want to go in and send me a photo, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. And again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. Or you can at me on Twitter at 360_weather. And that's all that I can see here. So, I will be back tomorrow. Make sure you go on and hit the like button if you haven't done already. Also, hit the subscribe button. Right now, we are at 12 people watching, only 8 likes. We're at 724, trying to get to 800. So let's go ahead and get there. Share with your friends, family members, acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to. You can share it to somebody that you saw at the cash register, or you can share it to somebody that you saw while you were out at the park having your walk or run. Anything. I mean, weather can come up in any conversation, so it's easy to go on and get somebody to go on and subscribe to the channel. But that's all. Make sure that you do that, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with your Wednesday morning forecast update, and then also tomorrow evening for your Wednesday evening forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday.